we did get into profit within 6 months, but people failed to realize that before then I have been in that market for 10 plus years.
I want people to really understand like what growth really looks like over those 3 years.
Being a Chinese restaurant, most people, you see those like little kid working in there, they're working 7 days a week. We have to help our parents because they don't have any support aside from their own child.
Do you have proper systems set up to really take your business and say, yeah, we made it through that?
The first 10 years, the most pivotal. You build a foundation, you build success. Don't necessarily need to be continuously growing, scaling. You need to be continuously working on infrastructure, the foundation.
Every year brings its own challenge.
Yes.
Some people don't even have the overhead or staff issues to deal with, and they're still not having profitable months.
No matter how good of a brand you are, there's gonna be dips. You cannot spend every money as if there's no tomorrow. The whole part of the game is a marathon, it's not a sprint. Success is rented, not owned. So you have to pay the dues daily.
Hey guys, we realize a lot of you are coming to the page and enjoying the content, but we see a lot of you still aren't subscribed. And so if you could click that subscribe button, it'll help our channel grow and give you more episodes with a lot of amazing individuals. Welcome back to another episode of Attractive Mindset. And today, listen, we have a super special treat for you because you know we love bringing people back on for part 2, part 3. And I want y'all we're going to pop up episode 4 on this screen. We're over 150 plus episodes later, and we got Brian back in the building. Man, listen, this is my guy. He was already doing phenomenal back then. And so if you didn't see episode 4, I want you to go way back and tap in to just see the difference in mindset, the difference in growth, the difference in what we're going to have this conversation versus last time's conversation. So Brian, welcome back to the show, man.
Sir, I appreciate you guys for having me back. You know, like it's crazy because I know Rich way back. We got from college to all the way, like we started the business together, and then like times going and just seeing like how much we came. Is just looking back, it's just fucking crazy.
Absolutely, man. So for the people who didn't see episode 4, what would you tell them is like your specialty? What's your role right now within your business?
So I'm the founder of Sovereign, and my main thing with Sovereign is creating a very lifestyle brand. Yes, it is a restaurant, but biggest thing that my passion is building brands and then scaling it, systemizing it. So that's kind of just like what how I set myself, because I know that I'm not perfect, so delegation is a big part. So we delegate anything that I'm not good at, and then but what I do enjoy, I try to make sure I seize it and just take care of it myself.
No, 100%. And so when you say restaurant, I need y'all to understand, like, he didn't get a chance to bring some food or some boba today, but man, listen, his food is off the chain. I've been to, it's been a while since I've been to the restaurant.
You were right there on my first launch, on my soft opening and everything. So
yeah, I know I gotta take a visit down there, you know. But you know, so tell us, since you've last been here, that's been 3 years ago now.
Yes.
3 years ago. So we're gonna go back a little bit to just give them a preface of like, you know, how you got started in it for the people who are new to your story. But I want to harp on like what growth really looks like over those 3 years. I want people to really understand like what's going on, how you're sustaining success, because sustaining success is honestly a lot harder than getting successful your first year.
Right.
A lot of people can come out the gate swinging, do very well, you know, have a really good first year, maybe even the first good, but to go 3 years plus, 5 years plus, 10 years plus is where it starts to get challenging.
Yes, sir. So like with our first episode, when I came in here, when I was 24 years old. Right now I'm 27, so it's been 3 years, right? This marked the 7th year of in the business since I launched. It's my first one in business. Honestly, it's my real first business, and honestly, I would say that I'm very lucky, because a lot of time people underestimate how much luck play, right? Some there's the timing, the location, the resource that you get at the time of being, to the different event that occurred in between, right? So people don't realize, like, yes, we have been scaling, but at the same time, there's also challenges, because 2022 was like right when COVID happened, so it was like everybody thought COVID was gonna be a bad year, right? But we sustained through, we outlasted COVID, and we experienced the rocketing to the moon. We didn't have to do, honestly, a lot of business didn't have to do much. As long as you were there, you were gonna reap the benefit of just everybody was going their peak, right? So honestly, past 2 year, it's also been more flat because of the economy. But honestly, our goal has just been very consistent, right? My goal is to be in business 10 years. The first 10 years is the most pivotal. You
Mm.
build a foundation, you build success, and people just see that hey, we gotta be. You don't necessarily need to be continuously growing, scaling, right? But you need to be continuously working on infrastructure, the foundation, right? So outward wise, I probably have like one or two more stores, but inward wise, there's more stuff that have been working on. This is Brian, the owner of Sovereign. We have some of the best healthy Asian foods in South Florida. We have locations all throughout South Florida. We have one in Plantation, Miami, and then we also have different locations that's being built out. Make sure you come check us out. Be different, be bold, eat sovereign, dominate life.
So how many stores do you have now?
Currently there's like 4 or 5 stores.
Mhm.
There's also two more on the way. One's another location, and then we also have a few other projects that's on the side that I usually don't discuss because I also, aside from like I mentioned, I love building brands. So aside from Sovereign, there are small like brands that I have been like working with.
Mm.
But like we were just talking earlier, just really focus on penny on the dollars, right? We don't have to start big and just test the ideas. Once you have the right ideas, go in, you scale up as you go, right? So that's the same concept. We're in 20 for physical business is definitely more harder, especially with the economy this year. But
Yeah.
look, fortunately for us, it's just like we've been out beating all the recession, and haven't been really been getting the hit as much as other people have been.
No, 100%. And I want people to really understand what you mean by like having a good year. And so you're in the restaurant business where some people don't even have the overhead or staff issues to deal with,
Right.
and they're still not having profitable months, but your business is able to do revenues of consistently 100K a month.
Yes.
And that across the board for each restaurant.
Yes.
And that right there, like, how do you scale a store to consistently do that where it's across each business, not even just one?
Well, the first thing start in being strategic right away, because no, being the physical restaurant, being like a brick and mortar, the location does matter. Like you can't just skip out and just not do your due diligence. You have to make sure the market right, has that demand, the demographic fits your brand, right? And also like you also have to have good products and good service, right? Sometimes the easiest thing that people get overlooked at, and even for me, like when I just started, all my store were at like 5.0 rating on both Yelp, Google, like we had like hundreds plus. But as you scale, you realize that these are things as you start delegating, this can be quality shift is that you can't do it as much yourself, right? So just building that consistency is what's the most challenging part. Yeah, but beginning 100K a month is one, you need to make sure there is the market demand, but also you need to ensure that you have good product and service all on. But sometimes having to get good product and service consistently is the hardest part.
Yeah. No, 100%. So now to go back a little bit for the people who are just being introduced to you now, you know, when you first started, so 7 years ago at 20, you took over the business model from your parents, right?
Yeah, so my parent has like we own the restaurant. We've been there since 2008, and I've been like my parent are first generation immigrant. They don't speak much English, so since very young, I've been helping them in the restaurant 7 days a week, right? But in 2018, no, 2017 is when I took over. Like November 2017 is when I fully launched the business. But I'll say mid 2017 is when I really got the chance because that time I was like 19 already, and the business is what it was like. Being a Chinese restaurant in a high end demographic like market like Plantation, it just wasn't working. No, the revenue wasn't good. No, so no, it was like kind of all in gamble. But they let me just take the risk. Let me take the risk. Let me go all out on it, and we were very fortunate to be honest. Like I attribute a lot of it to luck. Obviously, I have done my preparation, but people always underwhelm the importance of luck. Right? We have the good time, the good market, because I didn't need to be paying like 200 300K to buy the store previously. So we already had the store, right? So luckily, but even then, if my parent were to sell the store, we can't sell for much because the revenue wasn't making money.
Yeah.
Right. So even being selling, you probably just selling the shell, the equipment, you probably could still get the store for only 20 30K. Like what we waited in was probably like 40K at most. As for the store, and then we just had to get some extra loan for the renovations to kind of build a foundation, the new equipments, and then to start. And we just really just starting like bootstrap everything.
Wow, crazy. So
Yeah.
literally from the ground up building it. And so what would you say is the biggest difference that made you able to get sustainable from what your parents modeled versus to what you implemented?
Well, my biggest thing was just always building, understanding your customers, right? I've been in that. So for me, I've been in, like I mentioned, like I have given my time. People just look at, wow, Sovereign just really start. We did get into profit within 6 months. Like we got all the monies back and the profits within 6 months. But people fail to realize that before then, I have been in that market for 10 plus years. I worked 7 days a week, right? Being a Chinese restaurant, most people, you see those like kids in the hoods in the Chinese restaurant that have a little kid working in there. They're working 7 days a week, right? They have to help their parents. Unfortunately, like, whether people call it abuse or not, we have to help our parents because they don't have any assistance. They don't have any support other aside from their own child, right? They don't force it on their child, but the thing is, a lot as a child, as immigrant parents, you come through the struggle with them. So for me, it's like I have been there. I understand the market. I've been studying what that location been. We're in Plantation. We're on the west side plantation. That's where a lot of the people are wealthy. So I've been getting in contact with the people are healthy. They are more health conscious, right? We right now what we're serving is American Chinese food. A lot of the older population are either migrating or they're leaving. So we had to continue to get new customer. But a lot of the new people that are moving into Plantation are not 80 years old. They're not retiring. They're not They are changing that demographics.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure we're changing to make sure we're accustomed to like things that we're embodied about. And something I'm very big on is just making sure I'm selling something that I would eat myself. Right. That's something I'm very big that I would eat. I would enjoy myself and just passing on to other.
Yeah, no, 100%. And so what would you say is like your target demographic when it comes to not only basing your location somewhere, but who are you actually trying to sell to?
So our main thing is successful entrepreneurs. We have like blue collar, white collar workers, moms and kids. Definitely, demographic has to be more so like 80K a month, plus a year, in their average home income. So that's kind of like the demographics that we have to like attire to. But obviously we have to make every location we have to make small tweaks. So for example, people that live in Plantation is very different from people that live in downtown Miami, right? We have different stores, different demographic. We have to adjust the menu and their preference to the customer. We can't just like plug and play. A lot of the menu is exactly the same, but we might have to twist the flavors, a lot of details, just to make sure that the people there that are coming will enjoy it. Because for example, we have a lot more. Some places in Plantation, you're gonna expect people to enjoy the flavor a lot lighter.
Yeah.
When in Miami, like our food will be too bland, so we have to make sure we add more flavor to it, right? So that's just based on what the demographic need, and you have to make small tweak to it.
Little details, literally, like he's giving you gems. Those little details, those tweaks are what make that 100K month. Okay, cool. We're gonna hit it. We're gonna hit it over and over and over again. So now, when it comes to this business, brick and mortar, like you have a lot of people saying, and I hear it all the time because I also have a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
Like, oh, brick and mortar is old school. We're transitioning more to like a digital age period, which they're right. Digital is the forerunner of what's going on now. But how does that relate to you as a restaurant?
So like obviously you have to adapt, but I believe everything works in a cycle, right? Back then when I just started, something that people were big on is like word of mouth doesn't work anymore. You have to use ads. You have to use Google. But literally for the first 5 years of my business, I use 0 ads. It's all word of mouth, all just serving customer, and they just been building. Being in a community post, right? I go on Facebook. There's a lot of like city groups. You join it. You kind of put yourself out there, and then people in customer, they like it and they start posting about you, right? So literally on my first 5 year business, I haven't really touched a single ad. At most, probably just like I tweak the listings, but it's nothing crazy, nothing like lead ads, nothing that I'm plugging and playing right now, because we're at that level that we need to scale. We need to scale to the next level, and we need to elevate our brand. So we are definitely more leads, different type of funnels. But for most part, when we started, we literally started with people are shocked that we grow organically just through word of mouth, and that worked, and that really got us to 100K. Right, we got to our first 100K not through ads but through word of mouth.
Wow.
Right? just being consistent. Obviously, it helps that we have 5-star in the beginning, like first few years. When I've been in the store every single day at one specific store, it's a lot easier to control the quality and everything yourself, right? But but once you get to that level, it's no people overlook the small stuff. It's not it's not overly complicated, right? This is like what you're talking about. Yes, AI is crazy. I've been using AI. You could implement things. These are different tools that you could implement. It makes your life easier. But to negate saying that something is complete out is crazy. It's diabetical, right?
So when they say things like AI is going to take over or replace jobs and stuff, does that relate to the restaurant industry?
Certain degree, yes, because like you see, there's certain restaurants implementing robots as servers, but I think the biggest thing is about restaurant is connection. Like there's different ways that depending on what model you're doing, right? Some people model might be just serving a cheap food that like everybody can enjoy. Some people might be enjoying experience, like fine dining. If you use a robot, you go in there for about it's not a fine dining. You don't see the service, you don't see the hospitality. Sometimes these are things that a robot cannot replicate, right? You might be able to replicate some machines. Like a lot of the machines, equipment machines for restaurants are getting more technological. They're using implements AI, right? There's different, like we serve boba. I've been seeing like there's drinks, their machine that literally like you custom make it and they'll be able to like, you don't even have to alleviate a lot of the labor for sure. But in terms of service and people, you have to. It's still people.
Yeah.
When you're in the people industry, you cannot eliminate hospitality, right? As much as you want to talk to people online, it's not the same. Just come in person. Hey, just give me that warmth, just give me that hug, that smile. It's different. That's why you see that even a lot of things on YouTube are blowing up. Is because people are once you get to a certain point, there's going to be new demands. Like people are now craving for these type of connections.
Yeah.
If I like some of the biggest thing that I usually see on my feeds are like kinds of acts of kindness, right? People giving hugs, just showing love to one another, right? Those are things that are popping up again.
Yeah.
Right? So it's always like two extremities, two things, right? Once one thing becomes too much, it's going to flip over, right? Yes, AI is on the rise, technology is on the rise, but it's going to be at some point it's going to tip over and it's going to revert back, right? Because
history repeats itself.
It does. It repeats itself. So there's no reason like there's gonna be new wheels that you can install on your vehicle, but it's still a vehicle that you cannot drive a car without the wheel.
Yeah.
Right? You can't have it without the tires. It might be better tires, different technologies implemented. They might come in different form, but it's still they're served as like the median.
No, 100%. So, this makes me think of like a question that I feel like some people who are just getting into this industry or thinking about getting into this type of industry, whether they want to open something. Do you have any food trucks right now?
No, food truck is great, but I don't do any food truck just because sometimes I just enjoy staying in my lane. But it really depends on business, like how we were just talking about. Like you and I operate so differently, right? I'm still impressed by your way of execution, how you juggle millions of things, right? It really comes down to how you are as an individual, right? I cannot multitask for shit. Like you talk to me if I'm typing a message and you're talking to me, like more like than not, like I'm gonna do shit in both. Right? I have to really do things one at a time. So like, and that affects how you are as an operator, as a founder, right? So it really comes down to how you are as an individual, what's your passion, how you want to run it. Because there's money in everything, right? You just have to find your way.
Yep.
So like restaurant is literally the worst industry if you're trying to make money, but when you're making money, it's gonna be you still make good breads.
Yeah.
So honestly, there's nothing that I think people just overwhelmed. Like, what's the best up and coming? There's no best up and coming, right? You either you're the most likely than not. If you are buying that drink, you are the one that's getting sold, right? You're the consumer in that part, right? Our goal is make sure that as an entrepreneur, you have to do what value you believe you want to provide, and then how you want, because every business itself is a brand, is identity.
Yeah.
So what are things that you want your customers and consumers to feel, right? What type of brand? So for example, something that I'm also working on eventually is building that community, because we do have like high level clientele. We have high level entrepreneurs, lawyers, accountants, different you just whether there's in all normal people to some crazy individuals that are crazy successful. I want to be a median, right? Because wherever people come to, that's why we are implementing very hard. We are working very hard on just building that brand to make sure that, hey, we're very consistent on our message and how we set ourselves apart from others.
No, that's dope. And so, with you saying things like that,
Mhm.
would you lean more towards, or have you ever done like influencer marketing to where you might have that high level entrepreneur that's a local entrepreneur and they're like, yo, food critics come in and they,
Mhm.
advertise your stuff and promote your food?
Hmm. I definitely have. Like, no, these are different ways. I mean, I just see whether it's influence marketing, these are all just different strategies that you can implement. But they all come with pros and cons, right?
Mm,
Like I mentioned, I start slowly. So what happened is, so with my new store, when I started from the get go, I built it. I have tested out with influence marketing, and then with Sovereign, which we sub because since that's my first business. You kind of just have to figure things out yourself,
yeah,
right? I wasn't using all that crazy stuff. I was just like, let me do what I know and build it one at a time,
yeah.
right? What we have noticed is with influence marketing, it works. It gives you the awareness, but are you able to capture these are different things? Sometimes
Mm,
with the like I have help. I work with a lot of influencer, and we orchestrate a lot of brand story to ensure it triggers more people. And a lot of the videos that we done with the influence have generally blow up, right? But the thing is, they come with a season, right? These are customers that are you have to understand who are the people that are consuming these type of content.
yeah.
They're always looking for new things to try, right?
Mm,
So that loyalty might not be there. You will
mm,
get that money for sure. You get that good ROI, but
mhm.
your money will not. Uh, it's not like they're not gonna be repeating. My customer come back to our store 3 to 5 times, right? At a
Mm.
peak when things were, I wish things was as affordable how it was before COVID. We have customers literally come in almost 7 days a week.
So that's what I was gonna ask too. Like, is a lot of your base, because I'm sure what these, some of these people might be thinking is, okay, you're doing these amount of months. Is that just from pure
Mm-hmm.
constant foot traffic, or is it like recurring? Like, is
Right.
it the same people coming back,
Mm-hmm.
multiple times a week,
Right.
several times a month?
I believe it's in the 20/80 rules, right? It's 20% of the customer give you 80% of the revenues.
Mm,
I'll definitely say there is 20% of that customer are very loyal. They come in here, like they enjoy the food. They will switch things up, but they will come here nonstop, and they at least come minimum once a week,
mm,
right? So these are customers that are really building it. Foot traffic wise, if you look at a lot of our store location, it's never like the most prime. I give it a B rating. It's
mm.
in a good market. It's in a good area, but it's not gonna be where it's natural foot traffic like you'll
You
be
have
in the
to do your
malls
own.
and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Because with each perks that you get, it come with a downside, right?
yeah.
With there's a reason I have we have been working with different leads or landlords. We have worked with different brokerage to find new locations, and we kind of find out the different structures, right?
Mm,
Along the way, you learn that the more perks you get, you don't really get with much. You have to start paying percentage of your revenues,
yeah,
which gonna cut in deep
yeah.
to to the profit, right? Because they cut on the revenue, not on the profit.
Mm.
A lot of these big, nice, super nice shopping centers or malls.
I hear the horror stories.
Yeah, unless you're running on something else. So like, especially we're running on experience. We're running on like emotions, like for the brand, right? Evoking emotion through our brand. You can't really serve something like that unless there are models that could be profitable in that type of model, but
Yeah.
you have to orchestrate everything, every little detail,
Mm,
to make sure after you get a percentage cut you can still be profitable.
mm. So that's, with you saying that, there's like a key thing that pops up, and it makes me think about, for what you're building and you're going towards a 10-year plan,
Hmm.
like you said, what does exit strategy look like for you? Do you have
Hmm.
an exit strategy, or is it something you plan to just keep in the family and just pass on to your kids someday?
So there's, I mean, like definitely the way I have built it is always, we don't leave crumbs on the table, right? How I'm building it is making sure like if I were to ever exit, I could leave at I could have multiple multiplier, right? I have been running it with system. I've been running with my getting customers informations, right? The way we orchestrate everything to make sure it's attractive to private equity and also
Mm,
different rounds of investors that want to acquisition our business for sure. But when I first started business with Sovereign, my thing was just to build a autopilot business that could feed my family, and then
mm,
I started working because my main goal is working on building a conglomerate. Right, I would
mm,
like to enjoy doing a lot of different business. I love to do, but I want to use one as a medium. You need to have a cash cow to really fund all your other projects.
100%.
So for me, it's since day one, my goal was to now build this into profitable, very profitable. Again, I have specific goals, right? that we talked about before getting on scene. Just making sure we get to that level to attain that, and then I have different options. Now I could use it as I could either scale it to next level, start from 20 stores to rapidly going to 100 plus store all over the world, countries, or I could take that same money and funnel into other project. Whether it's I could do it as private, I could turn into my own private equity, right? I could do acquisition because by then I have a very mature system. I have a very mature team, right? Whether it's marketing team, operations, the different HR and stuff like that. It makes management super easy, right? So our thing in being business isn't to make sure you're doing all the dirty work yourself. You have to be willing to do the dirty work when times calls it and in the beginning. But as you start scaling, you have to really become the big brain to see what is the best next move, right? What is this situation? Even for me now, right? We think about, okay, this is where at a challenge. This is economy is bad. How do we navigate this economy? How do we elevate ourselves as a brand during this economy, right? A lot of time is this. We understand that during bad economies, a lot of competition are wiped out. So how do you play assertive, or should you be over leveraging? Should you play low, or you should be like reserve? These are different things that you have to really think about and see. There's no right or wrong answers. Sometimes you just make small different things that that happens. You have to take that as a hint and just really roll with it.
No, 100%. There's a saying that I've been saying a lot more recently, especially to like some of my students, mentees. It's when the smoke clears.
Yes.
Like, will you still be standing when the smoke clears? Because there's gonna be smoke.
Yes.
Every year, even if it's not something as drastic as COVID, every year brings its own challenge.
Yes.
2025, 2026, 2024, 2023, each year is going to bring something that is like, yo, what is this? Or what's going on? What's happening? But when the smoke clears, do you have proper systems set up to really take your business and say, yeah, we made it through that. Or, yeah, we have this pivot. Or, yeah, we have this branch. Okay, cool. This demographic of people stopped visiting us, but then we started catering towards this because we knew they were doing good right now. And, being able to interchange your system is what really makes you have a system. And I got into it with a few people, not got into it, but it was a discussion.
Yeah.
and I had to sit there and explain. Yeah. Super passionate. I had to sit there and explain that what they're telling me was workflows, because they were like, oh, well, I'm capturing leads when it goes to my website and I'm doing this and that and whatever. I have a system. I'm like, no, you have a workflow because you're saying basics that every business has no matter what. Yeah. But that's not what keeps you in the game.
Exactly.
That's not what keeps you 5 years from now, 10 years from now, this and that from now. And so I started explaining it a little bit more, almost like a car.
Yeah.
Your check engine light comes on and your car doesn't just halt in the middle of the highway. Yeah. Like the rest of the stuff keeps going.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Like even if you get a flat tire, you have 3 other tires still going. Right. Gives you time to pull over. You can still go if you want. You're going to mess your shit up, but it gives you time to still understand like, okay, I have time to correct whatever's going on before it becomes crazy, before it becomes a big damage. And I feel like for a lot of smaller entrepreneurs, regardless of the industry, they don't have these kind of systems set up to be like, well, I can take this hit or I can take this risk or I can take this circumstance that's happening right now. So I said all of that to say, with you expanding the way that you plan to expand, is that going to be more so under your direct company, or would you do something like a Subway or a Chick-fil-A where you start to franchise licenses off to people?
Right. So like, actually, that's something that's very interesting that I mentioned. Franchising is something that I have been staying away from, because you think about it. If a business is making a lot of money, why would you need that extra cash? You don't. Like, for example, Chick-fil-A, they are franchising, but if you look at their structure, they're not really real franchising. The company itself is going to be funding the majority of it. What they need is that personal, that operator right there.
Yeah.
Right? They will take it as their own business. They can pivot. That's a good thing about the franchising part, right? But if you look at Subway, it's going to be different because they're just franchising. Their main thing is the more store they open, that's how Subway make money, not based on what the store is making. They're making money based on the more operated, the more people buy into a franchise, right? And for me, that's why I always start slow, because I want to have full autonomy of all my business, everything that goes on. I'd rather go the slower route. I am very aware that it's gonna be a slower route, right? Because the thing is, if I were to try to cash cow Sovereign from the get go, the first year we have 1 to 2, we could open 2 or 3 stores. It showed that it's have good revenue, good system, and I could automatically start plugging hundreds of stores. We could open up hundreds, because it's really easy to sell. Because especially people see opportunities, they gonna hop on too quick, right? But the thing is, I always felt that franchise is more of a marketing play. There are really good franchising business, and you could definitely make money as a franchisor. But at the end of the day, like how I want it, because my goal was always to make this into either something that will funnel my families, make sure my parents are good, my kids are good, and then I could work on more risk, because I love taking risks. I love taking new projects, right? I love trying new things out. But the thing is, I need to make sure there's something are stable, right? We have a backup. Because the thing is, people want to assume, I got a new business, I could do new shits. Oh shit, I could jump from one thing to another. But no, this is sometimes doing nothing is the best thing, right? Until the wait for the best moment, you have to just wait for the right moment to really click. Because I have a lot of projects and things I really want to do.
Patience.
But I thought about, like, how would this affect everything? Like, the amount of money I'm making, can I afford it comfortably, right? I still have to make sure my kids are good, my ladies are good, and all my parents are good, right? So everything come with a cumulative decision, right? So right now, that's why I mentioned, like, a lot of time I'm not trying to over leverage, just because, like, there is no point of over leveraging. I haven't really got much, like, our business been self-funded.
Yeah. And you just said something I feel like is going to go over a lot of people's heads too, because can I afford this right now? If you physically look at it in your bank account, yeah, you can probably buy it once, maybe even twice.
Yeah.
But that's not the kind of afford, somebody like yourself or even me is looking at.
Yeah.
We're looking at more so, okay, what comes with it?
Yeah.
What else? Because when it comes to like people making new money that aren't used to making it, there's this premonition of, I got to spend it right now.
Until Uncle Sam come knocking on the door.
Exactly.
Come crazy fat, bro.
Exactly.
You're gonna pay your business tax, and then you're gonna pay your personal tax. So whether you're
100%.
1099, whether you are a C corp, S corp, or a LLC, you have to pay Uncle Sam. And we're lucky we're in Florida, so we're paying like less. But, like, you still got federal, and that you got to pay at least 20%.
You got to deal with it.
You could need to put minimum 20% of your income toward Uncle Sam.
And I feel like even with that model, a lot of people honestly just do it the again, this is not advice. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you anything. I'm just putting it out there. A lot of people just zero out their stuff. Exactly. They don't really do their taxes. They just take all the stuff and they either have deductions or they create deductions. Just so that they don't have to pay money back. And I don't think they really understand, like, that your business takes a hit for that.
And people don't realize, like, something I see a lot on Instagram is people like, oh, buy a G-Wagon. It's like, it's a write-off. You can write it off. But, like, it doesn't work. You have to depend on what industry you're in.
100%.
Like, for example, my accountant, I would say, oh, can I buy a nice car? They're like, you can buy a nice car, but that has to be personal, because you're a restaurant. What do you need a G-Wagon for?
100%.
Like, you could buy a big ass van that's like, you could buy a food truck. You could write that thing off for sure, but, like, you can, not everything is as nice as we're seeing on, like, what social media portrays to be. Exactly.
I feel like social media has given people the impression of, I don't even know the word that I'm looking for. I feel like social media has given people the impression of, like, this false sense of security.
An illusion.
An illusion, yes.
It's like a bubble.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly the word. Illusion, bubble, kind of farce, to where they tell you a lot of these loopholes that can be, like,
it sounds great,
70% true, but that 30% is what will throw a haymaker at your ass, because it's like, yeah, you could buy a G-Wagon, but what business are you in? They said it general, so it made everybody feel like they can go buy G-Wagons. Like, oh, if you're not buying a G-Wagon, to write this off. And it's like, yes, they're not wrong, but who are they actually talking to?
Exactly.
And people think when they put out these general videos that they're talking to them, And, you know, I tell people all the time when it comes to bringing people in and maintaining staff and then paying taxes and doing XYZ, like that shit is a lot.
Yeah, people don't realize W-2 or 1099, you have to, like, aside from what we're helping them withhold, us as a business also have to pay a separate tax for
100%.
them. So people just realize, oh, they're like Uncle Sam making their bread.
I have to
regardless.
pay them.
Exactly.
You good? No, you good. But yeah, I was like, I have to pay my staff. And you know, it's these little things that add up, and people almost get offended when they see like, oh, what's this tax on here? What's this tax on here? It's like, bro, I'm not eating that. And so you as the consumer gotta eat that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm giving you more quality as a brand because you do have to eat it. Yeah. But at the same time, like,
we're all paying Uncle Sam's bill.
Exactly. We all are paying. Even if you're a consumer, you're paying it. And so it just makes sense to be on the right side of it.
Exactly. Right. Our main thing is like, I mean, in the beginning, when I just started my entrepreneur journey, I was like, oh, I want to start a business so I could have write-off. I could write things off, write this off, write that off, and then just really deduct, like try and minimize my tax. But once you get into business, you're like, there's no way of avoiding it. It sounds as much as it sounds nice. Like, yes,
unless you leave the country.
Exactly. Like, as much as I try to write things off my business, like also it comes to the fact like, why are you necessarily on spending that money, right? Pay Uncle Sam. You still have extra cash for growing the business, right? It's not necessarily like if it makes sense, yes. If it's needed, get what you need, but do not go over. I think just like a lot of people get into business, they're have one good year. They're assuming the next 10 years was good. Right?
Yeah,
and I could tell straight up with my like everyone is. Obviously, I got very lucky. First year was good. Second year was good. COVID hit. We were down for almost like half of like 6 months. Really, they were shut down for 3 months closure. But we also you also remember there's things that you have to eat. The cost, the rent, the rent. You still have to pay the rent regardless if there's COVID or not. And obviously, they're also are you able to withhold your workers?
Yeah.
Right. If you have 3 months and you have no workers, when you start. You have to start over again. So you have to keep them, making sure they're staying alive as well.
Yeah.
Right? So there's costs that you have to associate to play in this game, right? And then obviously we went to 22, 21, 22, crazy years. Everybody have freaking goal. Like we went peak while doing nothing, 0 ads, and we just all time high. Like we made all time high sell month after month. Like everybody was traveling, everybody was consuming, right? And then come 2023, 24, that's when things start dying down a little bit. You know, there's different things that shift, right? And then this year, right, we obviously, my main goal is just to stay afloat, right? We have a lot of people in the industry that are experiencing 20, 30% revenue drop compared to previous year, right? I'm very happy with just either like within the single digit, within under 5% shift, or I've been keeping that around like 1 to 2% increase, right? Or at 0, right? For us, we're not trying to be aggressive. You need to know when to play. You have to adapt your playing style based on the economy, based on the macro things that are happening in the world, right? So, like this year, like September, October, craziest month for every business, right? Some business feel it a lot. You probably start seeing a lot of your gurus are increasing their ad spend on there just to try and convert more. But everyone's running their own monies, and then everyone's looking for a job and stuff like that. Everyone's getting laid off, so. You really have to pivot. So there's not one good year. You have to make sure, do you have enough money for the bad years?
Yeah.
Right? As much as I've been trying to acquisition during this downtime, a lot of people, I'm still waiting for people to, the sell off. I'm still waiting for people to go out of business to acquisition more stores, right? Because my store preference is around 1,500 square foot, and I max the F out of that bitch, right? So the revenue wise that we do for the store is insane, but I've been trying to, but at the same time, you have to really wait for the patient, right?
Yeah.
But I also have to think, can I eat that cost, right? There's going to be key money. There's going to be rents that you have to pay. And then there's on top of that, you have the renovations. People think it's scaling, but...
Yo, them renovations are no joke.
No joke. And then there's delays too. So like, you know, it's just like how you're doing house projects. You have to loans that you have to get. Luckily, we've been self-funded, right? So obviously, you haven't seen us doing too much flashy stuff, right? It's just... making sure family's taken care of, there's food on the table, and the rest is just making there as a reserve, right? People want to do too many things.
Yeah.
Honestly, They have one good year, then they spend it all, and then we see a lot of people like they're going in debt.
Crazy cars, vacations every 5 seconds, jumping off the top building in Miami, all type of crazy shit. And again, it's just not sustainable.
It's not.
You know, and people underestimate what they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the true element of ignorance, is non-preparation for the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I have a really good year. This happens, whatever. I go crazy. Then next year comes, and which I'm sure you see a lot too. And it's kind of funny. It's a little fucked up, but it's funny.
Yeah.
People switch industries.
Yeah.
Like all year they're talking about, oh yeah, real estate. And then you'd be like, hey, do you want life insurance?
Facts.
And it's like, how did we just get here? Like, bro.
And they go into solar cells and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Like, it's honestly, that's why we have to, like, when you start business, you have to really be clear. Am I in here to make a quick buck? Or am I in here to build a long-lasting brand? Like for me, I always understand I want to build a long-lasting brand. Mm-hmm. Hopefully my brand could go for 100 years, but before that, I need to make sure I can last through the first 10 years, which I talk about, right? A lot of business don't live till 10 years, right? A lot 100%. Of people die out by year 5. Mm-hmm. So like, even for me, every single year, I've been reminding myself, oh, you have been a good year. When I have good years, I remind you haven't had your down year yet. And then there's always going to be recessions, right?
Always.
It's a cycle. Doesn't matter what. There's always recession every 15 to 20 years, sometimes even every 10 years, right? Mm-hmm. So are you prepared for that as a business, right? No matter how good of a brand you are, there's going to be dips, right?
Gonna be.
So you cannot spend every money as if there's no tomorrow. You have to make sure you have money for the new product. You have money to reserve. The whole part of the game is a marathon. It's not a sprint, right? If you're trying to make a quick butt, sprint. You have to have good exit, quick pull that money, and then you have to switch out to the next industry, right? But that's your preference as an entrepreneur, right? Mm-hmm. But most likely not, if you're in an entrepreneur, you can't just be I'm an entrepreneur for 2 years, 1 year.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur should be a lifetime. If you only been entrepreneur for a couple of months and they say I don't want to be entrepreneur no more, you're not a real entrepreneur.
Yeah, at all.
Right? You have to build a lasting brand, right?
You got to take the hit.
Whether you're a personal brand or not, you have to take. You can't become an entrepreneur without L. There's L's gonna be regardless. There's a setup. No matter how successful you are, there's gonna always be bigger scale problems, right? Mm-hmm. At my scale, I have my scale problem, right? At people that are 8-figure, 9-figure, they're $1 billion company, they have their own.
They got their own, yeah.
Right? They have to make sure their shareholders happy. They're gonna be their stock could fall. So not in the preparation is just you're not. If you don't have preparations done for a long-term plan, I don't think you could call yourself entrepreneur. You can say you're rich. You can make quick money, right? Mm-hmm. But entrepreneurs providing value, right? And value shouldn't just be quick. It should be a long term.
100%. And the entire time you're saying that, it's making me think of something that's been on my chest for a while, and I want people to really understand this. Like, I really need you to understand this, and it's still gonna go over some people's heads, but. And this is a random ass segue, by the way, but I feel like you'll agree with me.
Yes, sir.
Right now in entrepreneurship, the biggest category of people making the most upfront money is who? Let me see if you know.
OnlyFans.
Well, no, not OnlyFans, but because you're on social media, but you're not on social media like that. Yeah. But it's credit people. Right. The credit industry. Mm-hmm. You're seeing the emergence of a lot of people saying, yo, let's fix your credit repair, credit funding. I want you to understand you're making somebody else rich, quote unquote, because you're avoiding responsibility. And I don't think most people understand how credit funding really works. Because they have somebody else that comes to them like, yo, I got this play. You can get 100K over here and we get 0% APR for 18 months and we do this and we flip it. We get you another card. Now we got 500K. We done got $1 million in funding for this and that and blah, blah, blah. You're making them rich off of leveraging someone else's money. And one, that's not a sustainable business model because they don't own it. They didn't create it.
And the worst thing is it can fuck people over because
Yes.
you're utilizing someone else's credit, right?
Yes.
So like people think, oh, 100 million funding is cool, but like how are you gonna make more money with that money, right?
And
I even
how
as a
can you
business,
pay it back?
yeah, and even at myself as a business, I haven't really used like funding like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the need?
Mm-hmm.
Right, you're over leveraging yourself, right? Unless you have like a set stone, but there is no thing in such money that are a set stone,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's all a risk, and you have to take calculated risk to make sure if it's worthwhile. You can have $1 million, you can spoil it, but like you're gonna be end up in jail.
100%. And and it goes even deeper than that because you have to excuse me, you have to understand, like, when you don't have access to this money, or you're not getting like emails or messages of them telling you, hey, come sit down with us to learn about private funding or private equity or become a private investor, or we want to offer you this business credit card or this credit card or whatever, that means you're not showing them cash flow. That means you're avoiding taxes. That means you're not doing what you should naturally be doing for a system of business, because if you did do that, literally, you wouldn't need a credit funding person to come to you and say, yo, I can show you how to sign up for this. And then because I showed you how to sign up for it, that's it.
You gotta pay me a fee.
You gotta give me 10%.
Yeah.
10 to 15% is crazy.
Of that loan.
It's crazy to me. And people get hit with this over and over and over because they don't know how to create proper cash flow.
Right.
And so I feel like, you know, with these kind of business models, with this stuff, you know, at the position you're at right now, with the amount of stores that you have, you obviously can't be at every store at once.
Right.
You know, what kind of team do you have set up? You know, is it something where you need like CEOs in each one, or are you just the overarching CEO and you have certain managers and stuff?
I mean, you could go both ways, to be honest. Like because the thing is, everything come in different scales, right? For now, I could still operate it within myself, not necessarily needing a whole general manager and everything like that, right? We have operators and partners and stuff like that might be operating it, but for most part, it's even without them, it's gonna be a lot. It's still manageable, right? We have shift leaders, but obviously you cannot. Our thing is just creating a system that there is way for people that work for us have different way of elevations, right? There's promotions, there's different ways they could go up, because the thing is, to run a good team, you have to you not only give them money, you have to make sure they're opportunities, right? You have to make sure they're learning, right? So these are things that you have to build. And something that you inspired me was like creating courses, which is I've been using, like creating my own course to help like manage my HR, right? I make sure I use AI to help me automatically screen my candidates, and then before then and after that, I'll do like probably a quick interview, right? Because I have most majority of the information. My thing is just trying to see you on the face, right? So it makes workflow a lot easier. And then even before in-person training, I have a full video training that you taught me. I've been using the course that I just make them to funnel them through it before they come into in-person.
Execution, right? High level execution.
So these are things that Rich inspired me, because that was when we had that first podcast. Tell me, oh, you were very big on course. You would tell me you would start your like teaching, your consultations business. I was like, oh, we had that conversation about how these courses and stuff like that. And then it comes to me like, no, instead, I don't necessarily need to sell my course to people. I could just create a course for my that automate a lot of my business. Because the thing is, whether any business is always onboarding a lot of new people, like new hires. That's the hardest part, right? Onboarding, training, learning the material. That's the hardest part. But doing that one time, all that effort, done.
Easy, automated.
Yeah, automated.
And it's these little things that you add to your business where some people don't understand. Like, bro, it's not so much about making $1 million today when you have something that's going to make you $1 million over 10 years.
Yeah.
You're going to add to that $1 million from everything else you do, but that one automation alone is your gold mine.
Yeah.
And you having a bunch of little automations become a bunch of little gold mines that you have in your business.
Right. So like, obviously there's different way that I have offload like certain demands for like my shift leads and stuff like that. Sometimes for other people, you really have to the manager have to be training them, right? And then sometimes other business have like other older worker teach, but you cannot teach the same level of excellence. So at least for me, that allowed me to teach things more consistently, right? We could be all on the same page. This is what our hospitality standards, right? This is how we say certain things. This is how we do certain things, right? I give them procedures. I have to assume that I'm teaching a baby, right? Doesn't matter if there are some that are very rapid learning. They're all going to be team members that are like that learn a little bit more differently per se. They might need a little bit more experience, more time. So doing it this way allow me to keep them the same standard, right? People always think like, how do I replicate myself? You have to standardize yourself. Like, what if you were in the business, what would you do? First thing, second thing, third thing, fourth thing, right? I try to, like, every now and then I still try going operation to see how I would do things differently. What word would I say customer and how they evoke different feelings, right? I'll be like, hey, welcome to Starving, guys. And then instead of saying, how's your day? What you up to? And different compliment. People don't understand these are little engagement. If you don't teach, people just, you're going to get a lot of variability. Because everybody's personality is different. Right?
100%.
So every employee that we have, going staff that we have, and team member that we have, they're going to have different personalities. Some might be very more, I'm good at execution. But other one, there might be, when it comes, there's give and take. The people that are good at execution, they generally are more quiet.
Yeah.
Right. And then the team that are more like, bubbly, socializing, right? They might be a little bit more slower on hands, right?
Yeah.
So there's always give and take, and how can we bridge the two, right? You have to set things are standardized, and then I try to utilize what they naturally are gifted, because some people are like, I give them room to build on it, right? So if I say, hi, welcome Sarvin, and they can say, ask your day, different compliments. Some people have that type of personality, very extroverted, right? So I try to capitalize on that. And then there's team members that are more reserved, right? We try to push them to be a little bit, but we still appreciate they're making sure their things are fast. You need both, right? You need both sides of the coin for the world to operate. So there's no such thing as, I don't believe in there's such thing as really good or really bad, because you just how you utilize everything that you are given. Right, you just see if it's good fit, and then you just bridge it into what works for your system, right, for your company, and then just making sure you have shared goals, right? Something I talk about with all my hires is, is this a good marriage, right? Are we the right job for what you're looking for? Right?
Yeah.
Are you like, I tell them, like, even I try to say the ugly stuff first. Restaurant is hard. Why would you want to do restaurants? That's literally one of my screening videos. Like, why would you want to do restaurants, right? It's not easy. I guess are easy. There are literally jobs that entry level job that you just sit at a desk, just chill, right? Receptionary desk, right? Maybe around the same price, maybe not, maybe a little bit under, but like, the amount of work that's given is different. So what is your why? So at least that kind of like, so you have to sell them on the job, and you also can, and that's something I really enjoy, is making sure they come into my company with full knowledge of full transparency. This is what you're going to expect from me. This is what you're going to expect from our company. Then this is what I also expect from you, right? So you got to say the ugly stuff first. And I think that's another thing, and that's the same thing with partnership. A lot of people go into partners think, oh, we're good friends. But you got to say the ugly stuff first.
Got to.
If we're making money, how are we dealing with this money?
Yeah.
We're not making money. If this is going downhill, how will we navigate it, right? Because sometimes like good friendship turn to enemies just because of these things that are not being talked about.
Oh yeah.
So whether it's your operation and stuff, whether your operation, your hiring, business partnership, if you're dealing with people, these are things that you have to really be upfront about. Because then by the time when the thing it become unexpected. So our goal is just always trying to be upfront as much as you can. Obviously, gonna be curveball that you don't even expect. Right, you might not think of, but that's why as an operator and as a CEO and a founder, you have to constantly think what are improvement we can make, right? What are communication that have to be spoken about more, right?
How often do you have team meetings?
Team meeting not so much, because we adjustment on the daily. We have shift leaders, so like there's different stuff, right? If I'm going something big, then we have to go through them. But usually our thing is make sure I'm continuously improving the system, and then I'll probably talk to my shift leader and operator, and they can pass on to more efficiently.
How often do you do that?
I was pretty frequently. Like I'm at the store. Like I might not be at one store every day, but I'm at the store every day.
Gotcha.
I can't take a break, bro. So if I'm not at one store, I'm always tweaking. So it's never, so communication wise, it's pretty on daily, right? I might not be talking to all the team because every market is different, right? Different store might have different customers. Like Miami, we have a lot more Hispanic customers, right? How they prefer things are more different from customer that elsewhere.
Yeah.
So culture is always different from region to region. Even though it's just like Miami, it might be just different counties. But you don't underestimate the amount, like the difference. Facts. That's why people say, I'm from Broward, right?
Yeah.
So you have to make sure you're tweaking things. Even the way I talk to my staff are different from different locations,
Yeah.
right? How they prefer talk being spoken to are
Yeah.
different. So you have
No,
to
100%.
you
That
have to
makes
tweak.
sense.
You have to tweak it to it.
You gotta adjust. No, that's gold. Brian, man, this has been an amazing conversation just to even hear the level of growth in just mindset that you've had from 3 years ago, you
Right.
know, and the sustainability of success that you've been able to keep through all those times, even with having dips and having things to overcome. And so, on a last note, I know you love to read.
Yeah.
You know, what book are you reading right now and why?
Make sure you tune in. Get your tickets for Art Week, November 30th, December 4th, 6th, and 7th. Let's go.
One of the book I've been reading is On the Edge. It's actually about like a gambler. There's a guy who's from casino. That's one I've been reading just recently. But I've been really just enjoying it because I've just giving different things. Because a lot of time in the business right now we're on the edge there, and the thing is on the business, whether you're where like everything is going smooth or not, you're always on the edge. You just never know. Something always come blindsided to you, right? So, on the edge is about managing your risk, managing your mental, your psychology, and just making sure you're winning, right? It's obvious. It's pretty interesting book. Let me find the full
author
name. Yeah. Yeah, but it's a great book. I have a few other ones I'm reading. Like obviously, we all love Alex Hormozy,
Yeah.
the Money Models.
Yeah.
Right, but this one has been I'm working on it. I'm not fully done with it yet.
I think I saw you get one the other day. The Black Swan something.
I got the Black Swan.
Yeah.
I read the prologue. It was pretty cool. So like it's as business, you have to constantly improve, bro. Like so, it's just I need to constantly make sure my mental is being adjusted. Right, I can't just be what worked yesterday is gonna work tomorrow.
100%.
So I'm always trying to read as much different book as possible. You don't necessarily have to follow every book because not every book that I give you is the truth. But you have to really analyze. Does this apply to my life? Does this apply to how I operate? Right. So and you have to come up with your own philosophy and how you interpret things.
Yeah.
Right. So I think one of the biggest things is a lot of people do just read the book and then never really just thought this is the truth.
Yeah,
right?
they just read it and that's it. They don't apply it.
They're assuming that's real. But actually, one of my favorite books is Ready, Aim, Fire.
Ready, Aim, Fire.
Yeah, it's a book about how a person is about a successful entrepreneur. He's a nine figure or billionaire that's grow a business from small to big. It's really one of my favorite books that is very memorable. I have it in both my audio book and also a physical book. So it was a really good book. It's about just being strategic. Before you do things, think it through, right? Obviously, there's a lot of different nuggets that I want everyone to just really explore. But it's more, honestly, aside from the book that I'm currently reading, that's one of the books that I have recommended to a lot of my entrepreneur friends.
Yeah, no, yeah. I just we just started a book club with the community, and so yeah, we're actually about to head into book number 2, and it's been super clean. It's been good, but nah, man, Brian, this has been another great episode. I appreciate you coming down, and you know, just to give people a chance to taste what I've tasted before. You know, we always like to give back in the ways that we can. So for 2 people, you and a friend, partner, son, kid, whatever, if you watch this episode, we're going to pop something up on the screen, right, Dan? Somewhere along the episode. And this is first come, first serve. So you want to watch this as soon as it drops. Let us know what area that you're in, that he has one of his stores. Make sure you're visiting him on Instagram. Check out his stores, whatever. And we're going to get you your meals.
Yeah.
2 people.
I'll cover it, bro. I'll cover it.
There you go.
Cover it. Whatever you guys want.
There you go. 2 people.
Come through.
You know what I'm saying? And so if people wanted to, you know, learn more about the stores that you have, learn where your restaurants are, all of that, learn more about you, where can they find you?
So no, my restaurant name is the Instagram handle is Eat Sovereign, and then my own personal Instagram is Boss Philippe, because I believe in being a boss, but also making sure you are also continuously working out. It's being an athlete, right? Business is athlete, so you have to make sure you're continuously proving, continuously being putting that consistency. One of the things that my coach always told me is success is rented, not owned. So you have to pay the dues daily. right? I still try to make sure I'm physical shape, mental health is good, and then also making sure my business is good. So
Yeah, you be hitting them box jumps.
always try and dunk this year.
Well, all right, my guy. Hey, man, this is another great
Yes, sir.
episode. Make sure that you like, share with a friend. A lot of gems in this episode. If you're thinking about the restaurant industry, you want tips and tricks from somebody who's not only been in it for a good amount of time, but also doing sustainable business, make sure you share this with a friend, even if it's not you. Take the gems. And it's your host, Moneybag Rich. And at the end of the day, we always say, we look good, we live good. Life is good. Talk to us. We talk back. And we out.